What is the difference between 75-25 ground beef and fat to protein ratio? The ideal macros on carnivore varies on who you ask or where you read the info from and so forth, but it's typically in the range of 60 to 80% fat, 20 to 35% protein, and no carbs, though some will say up to 5% is okay, but really carnivore is probably no carbs for the most part. All right, so for the sake of picking numbers, we'll say 70% fat to 30% protein for our ratio. That's basically a 2-to-1 ratio. It's technically a little higher than 2, but it's like 2.3 to 1, so we'll just say 2 to 1. Now, first off, if I personally am eating a fat to protein ratio of 2 to 1, I will have problems with going to the bathroom, like very loose stools, big time. Too much fat for me. All right. I'd be better around 1.5 to 1 ratio myself. And personally, I just think that 2 to 1 is too high. And a 1.5 to 1, all the way down to 1 to 1 ratio is more ideal. All right. But let's look at this package: 75% lean, 25% fat ground beef patties. There's 28 grams of fat and 18 grams of protein. This comes out to a 1.5 to 1 fat to protein ratio. That right there is really perfect for most people. If it's a little bit too much, then get more like the 80% fat, or excuse me, 80% lean, 20% fat beef instead, and that'll be perfect for you. Eggs can also help to lower that ratio a bit if you need it to be. Um, Believe it or not, people talk about how much fat is in eggs, but it's not as much as the ground beef. It's really closer to 1 to 1 ratio. So here's the info from one large egg, or the regular eggs that you can get at Aldi. I pick up a dozen of these for $1.64, so they're really cheap. So that's why I tend to get them. But the protein ratio on them is technically just a little less than 1 to 1, but we'll just say it's 1 to 1. So if I eat 2 to 3 of those 75-25 beef burger patties and let's say 6 eggs, my fat to protein ratio is going to be a little less than 1.5 to 1, which is pretty much the perfect ratio for me. So I hope this video helps you in learning the difference between seeing a package of ground beef that says 75% lean, 25% fat, and the carnivore diet being somewhere around 1.5 to 2 to 1 fat to protein ratio. Let me know in the comments if this helps or if you got any other questions.